everyone today?
Great.
Good. How was your spring break?
It was
Awesome.
Good. So we're back in the learning mode.
Of course.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, today's lesson is going to be very, very interesting. So today we're going to pretend to be German. So get your German caps on.
Germans?
Germans, there you go. So we're going to start off with a quote from Lenin. Does anyone know who he is?
Wasn't he a Russian politician?
Correct. Can somebody emphasize on that?
Russian revolutionary of
Yes.
communism.
Yes, he was a very famous politician, very important to the Russian Revolution and industrialization. So what we're going to do today is go over this quote and watch a 1-minute video on it so we can learn a little bit more about him. So who volunteers to read this quote? Go ahead, Isaac.
It is true that liberty is precious, so precious that it must be carefully rationed.
Okay, so let's start off with Russian. Does anyone know what that means?
Does it mean like an amount?
Right, so an amount would be, it's going to be limited, right? So think about freedom as limited. Would you guys like that here if it was limited?
It's communism.
Oh,
There you go, it's communism.
It's scary.
Very,
This is America.
exactly. Thank you. So we're just going to watch a quick video. And, okay, it's just 1 minute long about Lenin, a little bit about his history.
Vladimir Lenin was a leading political figure and revolutionary thinker of the 20th century. Vladimir Lenin was born in Simbirsk in Russia into an educated family. He was an excellent student at school and went on to study law at university. His radical political attitude was heavily influenced by the fact that his brother was hanged for attempting to assassinate the Tsar, Alexander III. Lenin was eventually expelled by the university for his extreme views, and he had to complete his studies as an external student. He became a revolutionary after he completed his degree and was arrested and exiled to Siberia, where he met and married his wife. He took the pseudonym Lenin in 1902 and spent many years in Munich, London, and Geneva, and became the leader of the Bolshevik movement. In 1917, towards the end of World War I, Lenin returned to Russia, aided by the Germans, in order to try to overthrow the provisional government that was ruling Russia, and eventually led the October Revolution, which led to the Bolsheviks' victory and assumed complete control of the country. He ruthlessly destroyed any opposition to his rule in an action known as the Red Terror, and introduced communist rule across the country. Lenin survived 2 assassination attempts, but the second attempt led to a decline in his health, and in 1923 he suffered a stroke which left him bedridden and mute until his death. Lenin's policies industrialized Russia and eliminated unemployment, but his regime was brutal in its suppression of the people. He remains one of the most important political figures of the 20th century.
All right, and that's that for that. What did you guys think? Any comments?
Well, he was a revolutionary. I mean, people today, they don't approve their government or necessarily agree with the government. You know, there are ways to, overthrow them. You have Egypt, you have Syria, you have multiple other countries. So it's, it's a turning point in, I guess, the biggest country. Like America, we had a revolution. They had theirs.
Good job. So how would you say this quote from Lenin ties into the whole Russian Revolution and industrialization? Anyone?
To provide liberty. Liberty is kind of like, I would not say a commodity, because I'm not like, I would say it's a good thing to have, because liberty is freedom,
Right.
which so makes it precious. So kind of saying when he introduced communism into Russia, he gave the people liberty, but he limited it because it's so precious. So it's kind of a way of thinking, making them think like, hey, like,
Indeed. That's actually correct. Mr. Philip? Okay, so we're going to start with chapter 27, Russia and Japan, Industrialization Outside the West. Okay, so just a quick reminder, remember to take notes. Key The lecture, we will be giving information that will be useful towards the end of the presentation, because you will have to create your own diagram at the end, as well as in the middle, we're going to stop, and you guys are going to get into groups, and we're going to discuss and take notes about the differences in Russia Revolution before and after. So let's get started. All right, so the intro. Russia and Japan managed to avoid Western dominance and industrialize. Both nations had prior experience with culture imitation. Japan from China, Russia from Byzantine and the West. Both had achieved more effective central government during the 17th and 18th century. Russia before reform. Who wants to read this slide? Erica? Thank you.
Russian leaders in the 18th century sought to isolate Russia from the Western European revolutions. The Napoleon invasion of 1812 completed the shift toward conservatism, preservation of one's heritage. Russian intellectuals remained connected to Western European trends, a connection that worried the elite.
Economic and social problems. Russia's economic remained primarily agrarian. Now, who knows what this means?
Does it mean like plants or fields?
Yes, that is correct. So, synonym, agriculture, yes. So, think about it this way. If you're working for someone, you want them to treat you right in order to get, good results from that worker. However, they were overworking them most of the time due to this problem. They weren't getting good productions, they weren't getting good trade, so this was a mad chaos for the peasants. Now, this led to the Crimean War, 1854 through 1856, contest between the major European powers of influence over the territories of the declining Ottoman Empire. Demonstrates how far Russia had fallen between the West. Who wants to read this next slide? Melissa?
So economic and social problems continue. In order to establish a better economy, some attempt had to be made to resolve the peasant crisis. A freer labor force, it was believed, could increase profitability. A series of minor peasant rebellions in the 1850s also stimulated the movement for reform.
The Reform era. Tsar Alexander II emancipated the serfs in 1861. The freed serfs got most of the land, but the aristocracy retained essential political, and economic power. Aristocracy. Somebody tell me about aristocracy. What does it mean?
Does it mean like kind of like political power?
Right. The elite, yes. So, in your own opinion, how would you tie this with the United States? Or could you tie this with the United States? Yes.
Aristocracy is like aristocrat, which they're very formed, and they keep things organized and everything like that. And CERN, it's really, that's the way of thinking. There's a way of thinking like the strongest will survive and everything like that.
Right.
In a way, in that democracy, you're rich basically, and you have the power to have dominances, and the people who are the peasantry and everything like that,
No.
they're more.
So would you guys agree that here in the United States, the richest run the country,
Yes.
and do the poor fail most of the time, or are they left behind, like in this era for Russia?
Yes.
You think so?
Well, we don't. The electoral college isn't really necessary to hold over the entire population.
Okay.
There's a big education gap also.
There's a big, tell me more about that.
Like people that live in more, I guess, higher society places versus like down here, they tend to be educated more, I guess you could say, or like they tend to have like a higher education. So there's
Okay.
down
So
here.
in this era, the peasants revolt. They
I would like to say people are more submissive nowadays.
I think that's due to the illusion of freedom.
The illusion of freedom.
Right.
Tell me about that.
Well, I mean, we think we're free, but I mean, like, we're free, but I mean, what's really tying us down, not necessarily, we're not tied to villages, but we're tied down by debt.
Right.
Right. So that's why I say the illusion of freedom. We're free, but we're always going to be tied down to that debt, and that would always keep us owned.
A question you should always ask is, are free from what? Are you free, did you buy something, when they give you something and they tell you it's free because you didn't pay for it, but somebody else had to have paid for it along the way. So in the end, nothing is ever free.
Okay. Good thoughts. Yes.
And, last thing, also our nation, I mean, we have our rights, civilians or anything like that, but there's a non-constitutional zone 100 miles from every border of the United States that actually allows our government to violate our civil rights. So there are certain loopholes that
There is.
it's pretty interesting.
Good job. Okay, we'll just keep all these comments in mind and we'll proceed. Larger urban labor force, but fails to stimulate agriculture production. So, that's that. Additional reforms. New law codes, regional councils, or votes, and military reforms. Literacy spread more widely in Russian society. Women gains likely through greater access to the education somewhat within patriarchal authority. So here we're starting to see the progress in Russia and the reform. Early industrialization. Lacking a substantial middle class, the state played a critical role. Russia created a substantial railroad network which allowed more efficient use of Russia's abundant natural resources, facilitated shipments of grain to the West, which helped finance industrialization. Who wants to read this next slide?
Early
Go ahead.
industrialization continued by the 1880s. Modern factories had begun to develop in major Russian cities. The Russian Ministry of Finance encouraged Western investment. As a result, nearly one-half of Russia's industrial businesses were foreign-owned. Focus was in steel and petroleum production. The masses were only slightly affected by industrialization and was unable to produce a middle class.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so this is where we're going to stop and we're going to get into groups. And I want you guys to work together, and with what you've learned so far, I want you to compare Russia before the reform and after the reform. Okay? Okay, right. So don't group up with your friends. Group up with someone you don't pair up with. So usually, and we'll start there.
Do we have to move